Autism, and welcome to my Facebook Live today. It's Tuesday at 12:30, and today's topic is I'm going to teach you one powerful tip that you can do that will increase your child's verbal communication. But before I do that, there's something I wanted to share from last week. You remember that we talked about getting curious and how when we take a step back, let go of our beliefs and our judgments and just look to see what our children are doing in a curious way, sometimes we'll find patterns and then we can understand them a lot better as well as how to help them better. Right after I had told you this, that very night, my son did not sleep. He went for 36 hours without sleep. And you can imagine the thoughts and the beliefs and the fear and the concerns that were going on inside of me. And especially at 3 o'clock in the morning, at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock when he's still awake, and I'm thinking, he's got to go to school. He has to go to the dentist. I have work I need to do. Now I can't do it. So all the stress was building up, and I finally just remembered and said, wait, stop, relax, step back, and get curious. And I just kind of let all of that go and decided that I would wait and see what he would show me. Would he be ready to go to school? Would he be ready to go to the dentist? What I found is yes. He went to the dentist that day and did great. He went to school and they told me he had the best day ever. Like, I never would have believed that. And I almost didn't send him to school. I almost canceled all of my meetings to stay home with him. But look what happened. Instead, I got curious and I allowed him to show me what he needed, and he was completely fine. So I wanted to share that with you because it was so relevant and so quick after what I just shared with you last week. And you can do it, even in moments when you feel it's impossible. So you can, and your children are going to show you what's good for them and how you can help them. All right, so now let me tell you this one powerful tip that I have learned to help your child speak more or use their verbal language more. Are you ready? You need to speak less by 50%. And that means you need to talk or cut down your talking by half. And you may be thinking, what is that? Really? Why? Well, here's the thing. You don't realize how much you talk. I didn't either until I had someone videotape me when I was interacting and doing activities with my son. And what I realized is that whenever there was space or silence, I was filling it. And I would ask him something, and I thought I was waiting, but I really wasn't. And so what was happening is I wasn't giving him time. I wasn't giving him time to think, to listen to me, to process it, and then collect what he needed to do to respond, because I was jumping right in. So let me ask you if you feel you're the same way. And I'm going to ask you to think about a social gathering that you've been to with friends. And everyone's talking and having a good time, then all of a sudden the conversation stops and it's silence. How do you feel? Do you feel a little bit uncomfortable because nothing's being said? Do you jump in and say something to keep the conversation going? If you answered yes, then most likely you're talking too much with your child. What I'm going to recommend that you do, and this is what I recommend with other parents, and we've had great success with this, is for you to ask a friend, a partner, a neighbor to take their smartphone and just casually videotape you with your child. And the reason I say casually is because when I pull out my phone now, my son knows I'm going to videotape, and it changes the whole interaction. So you want to try to do this in a way that's not going to change things, so you can capture it as authentically as you can. And for that reason, you also will want to videotape it several times. In other words, have someone videotape you more than once interacting with your child Because the first time, you're going to be aware they're there videotaping, and you're going to really try to talk less. So you're not going to be as natural. But by the third and fourth time, you will be. And then I invite you to watch that video with an open mind and an open heart, and really just observe and get curious. What's happening? What are you doing? What are you asking your child to do? And what is the response? Is your child making a facial expression, putting his hands over his ears, walking away, or looking at you, smiling and really trying to make some sort of effort to talk? So observe all of that and figure that out, and give him or her space, because there's only a certain amount of space. And when we are there talking and filling it, there's no room for anybody. So when you step back, give more space, there's so much more freedom and time for your child to show up, to make a sound, to try to say that word. So now what do when you're giving the space and your child is showing up? You don't talk, but you can use your facial expressions. You can use your hands and your arms and your legs. You can just do things without speaking. And sometimes when my son is saying something, I open my eyes big and I smile in a very encouraging kind of facial expression. And I will say, yes, great. But I don't spend a lot of time talking after that. I will celebrate him, and then we'll do what I asked him to do. And then the next thing, if I make a request, ask him to do something, or show him it's time for him to say something, I'll give him space, let him try, celebrate it, and then we do it. So this is something that takes a little bit of practice, because like I said, you are not going to believe how much you are talking. And it's okay. It's what we do. But when you change this one thing, your child is going to have the ability to say more. And even if it's a sound and not a clear word, that's progress. That's your child making the effort to communicate verbally. So you celebrate it. You can use that time to role model, like use your mouth to show the word and how it's said. And then you can even say, oh, do that again, or let's do it together. So give this a try and watch and see how much more your child is going to actually show you they can and want to communicate verbally with you. And I'd love to hear any questions that you have and any experiences that you have with this, because it is something that I've seen remarkable progress with not only my child, but with other children as well when I work with their parents. So I'm excited to share that with you. And now I don't see any questions, which is perfectly fine. I do look forward to your questions. Lots of times people watch this later and then post a question on Facebook, and I will get back to you with my answer. And I love doing that. And I wanted to just remind you that next week we're going to do Ask Jane Lynn. So if you would send me your question, and whenever you can between now and next week, either put it on the Facebook page, Navigate Autism, or you can even send it by email. And the way to do that is to go to my website, navigateautism.com, go to the contact page, and then fill out the form. And in the form, just put your question and then hit submit, and that sends me your email. And then I'll answer as many as I can next week on Tuesday at 12:30 on Facebook Live. Thanks everyone. Good luck. Have fun with these amazing techniques, and I look forward to seeing you again next Tuesday. Take care.